Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Cage Fight Podcast. It's the big
shit.
3-0.
It's the big Steph Curry.
In this episode, we will be discussing the movies The Weatherman and The Ant Bully, which, I don't know, these are both mid-2000s masterpieces.
Yeah, one was released, they were literally released a year within each other, so.
Yeah, and both won Best Picture.
Yeah,
yes, it did, yes.
They also kind of represent like the two main cliques of my high school, like the Weathermen and the Ant Bullies.
And I believe they both won the Best Foreign Film that year at the Academy Awards.
Yeah, even though I think both of these were made in America, they made an exception.
Well, it was the Academy in Turkey.
I mean, no, the Weatherman was actually shot in Chicago, which shouldn't be part of America. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's libtard land, so.
Yeah, it's a freaking danger zone.
But I thought it was California that they were trying to break off.
No, it's libtard land. There's a bunch of libertarian retards there.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, let's get rid of it.
The ocean is going to come crashing down on Chicago specifically, and it's going to wipe it off the map.
And you know, if we're going to wipe anything off the map, how about that fucking shit pizza they have there? Like, what the fuck? More of a casserole than a pizza.
Whoa, fucking, it's dripping everywhere.
Yeah. You got those Chicago-style hot dogs. What the fuck is celery salt? What the fuck is that bullshit?
You need a fucking extra bun for all the shit they put on that shit.
And all we know, you put ketchup and sprinkles on your hot dogs.
Look, frankly, I do like Chicago-style hot dogs.
I like Chicago-style hot dogs and deep dish pizza.
Deep dish pizza is too much for me.
Well, you're a fucking coward.
Either Dave broke the soundboard or he's very adamant about the no.
I like deep dick pizza more than deep dish pizza. So
I can agree with that.
Yeah. It's
now I broke the soundboard.
Oh shit.
How come you never hear about shallow digging?
That's true. Just the tip. Like, oh yeah, baby, I'm just literally gonna give you the tip.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Sometimes
just like
that's all you want.
ankle deep.
Not even like more like a big toe deep. Is that what they call foot? No,
soles of my feet deep into pussy. Oh God, I don't. This is.
Anyways, if you enjoy these conversations about deep dick pizza, maybe throw us some money on Patreon.
Yeah, pay us for this.
Patreon.com/cagefightpod or podcast.
Please pay us for this comedy gold you are currently listening to right
Yes.
Yeah, eventually we'll start doing exclusive content there where we're like slurping up the pussy all the time.
We're going to start doing comedy sets when COVID is over. And let me tell you what, those comedians, they don't know what the fuck's coming into them because we got the fucking lit comedy over here.
Yeah, I'm not doing comedy over fucking Zoom because I need the people there booing me to get the full experience.
Exactly.
They're going to be cheering me. They'll boo you.
Yeah, exactly. Boo You, my new album, is now available on iTunes.
Also, follow us on all forms of social media. If you can think of one, we're probably on it.
Yeah, I mean, we're on Twitter.
We're not on Mastodon.
We're on Facebook somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
We're currently on FetLife.
Yes.
And
we got a LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We're on Vampire Freaks.
Live Journal, Fur Affinity, Tumblr. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
WordPress.
I think we're in a couple scat fetish forums too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, we're definitely in some scat fetish forums unless they deleted my posts.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
I think we even have a couple posts on eFucked.
Oh yeah.
And Rotten.com.
There's a video on eFucked where somebody eats a bowl of cereal out of a girl's ass while they're listening to our podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually true. I've watched that video.
I made that
I'm
video.
glad I haven't.
Well,
it's a good video.
They specifically do the one where, they're specifically listening to
I'm
the
all
part
for eating
where,
ass, but not eating out of an ass. No.
You know what? Broaden your horizons, Jess.
Yeah.
But specifically on that video, they're listening to our Danzig Did 9/11 bit, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, it's become big in the fetish community.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of, like, you should check out the YouTube channel. We got like special clips from all sorts of episodes up there, and even outtakes. That's something I don't think we've ever talked about, even on like our Twitter.
We've literally
it's
never talked
true.
about it on any social
We've
media.
just been like low key releasing videos to like one person who accidentally came across it when trying to find something else. So
all of National Pleasure's beautiful songs are on there.
Oh yeah,
we got clips from all sorts of shit. But that's enough plugging at the start of the podcast.
Oh yeah, and one last plug: if you do subscribe to our Patreon, you can unlock the one premium post that we have, which is a recording that I have released of Jess saying the N-word a bunch.
This is not true.
Go
Yes,
check
it is.
that out.
God damn it. Let's just move on to the episode now. So first we'll be discussing The Weatherman. This is a movie that came out in 2005, rated R, directed by Gore Verbinski.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I legit thought it was Gore Vidal at first. I'm like, wait, he was a director? And it's like, oh, different person. Okay.
Yeah. Gore Verbinski, I think his best known movies are probably the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, right?
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean, that Lone Ranger movie where
Totally
They
forgot that happened.
put Johnny Depp in brownface and then put whiteface over that. He did Rango, The Ring.
No,
the-
Rango's an underrated movie.
Oh, he did direct The
Rango
Ring,
is
didn't
great,
he?
yeah. And also he did Mouse Hunt, which is a fucking classic.
And you know,
it's a good movie.
I think honestly, The Weatherman and Pirates of the Caribbean have a lot in common if you think about it.
That's true.
I mean,
think they
both are heavily influenced by the weather.
That's true.
You can't really sail a ship if you don't, pay a little attention.
I think there's more in common than that. I think you have to go more than just skin deep, Jess. So do better next time.
Jess, I just want to correct you on one thing, and I don't want to be like a dick about it, but you said the thing that Gore Verbinski is most known for is the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but I think you meant the Budweiser Frogs video short from 1995.
Oh, yeah.
So
That does have some wide reach with probably people older than me, and I'm like the youngest cutoff that knows what that is.
yeah, and that's just because I still say it a lot. So
This is written by Steve Conrad. Production company was Escape Artists.
Which I believe that was a production company for a previous film that we had.
yeah, the Houdini movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great joke.
Oh, yeah.
Pay us money on patreon.com/Cage5Pod.
I mean, once again, Mike's comedy special was a Boo You, right?
Boo you is yeah, just boo me.
I believe that's only on OnlyFans. Your OnlyFans, right?
Yeah.
Ooh. Runtime of 102 minutes. Budget of $22 million. And does anyone want to guess if this went red or black?
I'm gonna guess that this movie didn't go in the black because it
Yeah,
is kind of a niche film.
No.
Well, but
But
mean,
it wasn't that big of a budget. That's
yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
I
And
still don't
it's-
imagine that many people willing to go see this
And Gore
movie
Vidal
just
made
for,
it, you know.
Yeah, Gore
so-
Vidal did make it.
I'm gonna say it is in the black. I'm gonna say it made a cool 37 million.
Oh, and also, Escape Artists was a production company for Knowing.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Thank you for knowing that.
But Taylor, you're right. This is in the red. $19 million. I was actually surprised, which brings up our total, which I definitely had up, and I didn't just recall at this
And
exact
Jess
moment.
Yeah,
is not
so-
lying. She fucking
Yes.
she just has a lot of papers out.
We're having
We're podcasting through a tunnel.
That would be 22 out of 51 movies.
Okay, I'm sorry. We
I'm
just
sorry,
figured it
21. Whoops.
out. We
I
just figured it out.
incremented it.
So I do apologize for the connection issues there, but Jess had the information up. We just couldn't
Yes.
say it right away.
Yeah, 21 out of 51 movies. Unfortunately, that's all we got. Rotten Tomatoes, this got 59% from critics.
So just a hair under Fresh. Just a hair under
I thought
Fresh.
Fresh was at 50.
No, we had this discussion on previous episodes. The Fresh is 60. Oof. Fresh used to be 50, but that was like years and years ago.
Yeah, because of inflation and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh had
Yes,
to
true.
change.
They had to grade up on a curve.
56% from audiences. But that's all I got from for facts there. I don't know if Mike has some dazzling little facts for us or anything.
Got some couple bullshits here.
Or if Taylor does. Taylor, what did you prepare?
Nothing. I have no facts. I wanted to go as blind into this as possible. So, Mike,
okay.
what bullshit facts do you have?
I got some bullshit about the food that hits Nicolas Cage throughout this movie was thrown by director Gore Verbinski.
Oh.
So he's the guy whose ass should get kicked
Yeah.
by Michael Caine.
Honestly, that's a really funny fact. I like that a lot.
And Gore Verbinski also played guitar on Hans Zimmer's score for the movie. So he fucking
Really?
Wait. Hans Zimmer
Shreds.
scored this movie?
yeah,
What the
Zim.
fuck? I did not expect that one at all.
And this is Gore Vidal's
didn't either.
lowest budget movie.
or Gore Vidal's. This doesn't even sound like a Hans Zimmer soundtrack.
No, it doesn't.
The
Because
ending
it's got so
credits
much
is like
shredding
a
on it.
weird like 90s jazz music thing that I actually like because I like that style of music because I'm lame as shit. But
Yeah, this movie was shot in Chicago, despite them wanting to shoot it in Canada. They wanted it to look authentic, so they, brought it to the fucking pizza place.
And you know what's even like more hilarious than that? Movies that are often shot in the Midwest are always shot in the Toronto area, no matter what. It seems like.
Yeah,
Like it's just like, come on, guys, we know the difference. I can tell the foliage between Mississauga and fucking Toledo. I know the difference. Stop lying to me.
Transformers 3 was shot in Milwaukee for like 10 seconds of the movie.
It
Yeah,
was, and they claimed it was Chicago. They claimed the Milwaukee Art Museum was in Chicago. Those fucks.
when I heard
Wait,
they
I don't
were
remember
filming at the art museum, I was really hoping that would turn into like a big robot and fly away, but it didn't.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't. I mean, it
pretty-
literally does transform anyways.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have a real Transformer. Not good enough for Shia LaBeouf, though.
No.
So while shooting this movie, director Gore Vidal was surprised to find that Chicago was uncharacteristically warm in February. So
Potato flakes?
the production designers had to recreate snow from scratch as the movie takes place during winter. I don't know if they for sure used snowflakes, but I really hope they did.
Potato flakes, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, potato flakes. I had snowflakes on the brain because I was thinking about
Potatoes.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You were thinking about all the libs that are getting triggered right now.
Yeah, or getting triggered a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And my last not interesting fact is that the McDonald's logo appears prominently on the screen no less than 9 times for anybody who's counting.
Yeah,
So-
I also saw the Arby's logo and the Wendy's logo.
Yeah,
above,
yeah.
so-
This entire movie has this weird like fast food motif.
Yeah.
It really does.
I wasn't sure what the point of it was.
And I'm
but-
honestly shocked, considering this took place in Chicago, that they didn't take a short jaunt to the Rock and Roll McDonald's.
Yeah, or the fucking Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh.
Well, he does have a line near the end of the movie about having a uniquely American achievement, and I feel like fast food is somehow relating to that, but I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, fast food, fucking most delicious form of cancer. In
It's
my
so
opinion.
delicious.
Hell yeah!
Don't be a cook. Get the new
I had
Little
it
Big
today.
Mac.
Why Little Big Mac?
Yeah, the Nintendo character.
Starring.
It's- yeah, it's the new.
I was
new
thinking
Little
about
Big
the fucking
Mac.
Dustin Hoffman movie.
It's a Travis Scott meal, but it's just a Little Big Mac
Get
meal.
the new Mr. Game & Watch meal, or whatever.
Get the new Captain Falcon meal. Get Falcon punched into flavor.
Get the Steve from Minecraft meal.
You have to make it yourself. Like you have to grow the grains. Like they give you all the
takes forever.
seeds and like a hoe and shit.
I got one. Get the new Birdo meal. You're gonna suck that up.
Going into a plot summary here. So Nicolas Cage is a TV news weatherman who is well known around the city of Chicago, where he does his weather reporting.
Well known for getting the fucking weather wrong. Or
Yeah.
something.
And being a dick to his fans.
Yeah.
And by his own admission, his job is incredibly easy. He makes about $240,000 a year for 2 hours of reading prompts a day and does some like public speaking events. But people around town just disrespect him constantly. He's repeatedly like recognized, harassed, and often has shit thrown at him.
And I kind of wanted to highlight on the TV at one point. There's like a news broadcast going on, and you know we always talk about sex offenders on the show, but Al Franken's name gets brought up several times in this movie, and I can't move past it.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. It's like, listen, we're always talking about Dan Schneider. We're always talking about, fucking like every sex offender. Was it Bryan Singer, obviously. I can't believe I forgot his name there. John Lasseter. But we've never mentioned Al Franken, the most notable sex offender.
It's true. Al Franken has not come up yet. But thankfully now he's
Now he has.
Now he's
Hey,
on
Nick
the wrong
Cage did
Cage
it.
fight
Nick Cage
canon.
movie did for us, okay?
hell yeah. It came up completely organically.
Yeah.
Al Frankenberry. Stop the Count Chocula.
They call him Al Frankenberry because of the clumps of shit he has in his eyebrows or whatever. I don't know. It's a Dingleberry joke.
What? No.
Cage's familial relationships seem to be characterized by like awkwardness and disconnection. He has a 12-year-old daughter named Shelley, a 15-year-old son named Mike, and is evidently separated from his wife Noreen. I never really got the word on whether or not they were actually divorced.
I think they're separated.
Yeah, but she also said we'll save that for later.
You know what? You're right. Never mind. We will get into that later. But they're just divorced.
Yeah, she's nailing Jackie Aprile. So
his daughter is growing up pretty quickly and apparently smoking cigarettes without Cage knowing. And he tries to get along with her, but evidently isn't connecting very well. The same goes for his son, Mike. Not this Mike, different Mike. But and he is evidently like very close with his like guidance counselor who like meets with him all the time outside of school. I
believe his guidance counselor is played by Bryan Singer in this movie.
Yeah. Bryan Singer slap a goatee on him.
And no shit, when that guidance counselor showed up, the second I saw him, like, I'm gonna put him as Bryan Singer in my notes because I'm like, he's gonna be a Bryan Singer. And not to spoil it, but my prediction was,
to be fair, like from the very first scene he's in, you'd kind of have to be like blind to not see that coming.
To be fair, I feel like people that aren't like back in 2005, people have been like, "Oh, that guy's weird," I guess, but I don't know.
I think it's really funny how like the first thing that Mike says about him is that like, oh, he swears a lot to seem cool, and then like every time you see him, he's saying like, "Fuck," like, "Oh shit," just about like pretty much nothing. He sounds super hip and cool.
Oh yeah. So Cage's father, Michael Caine, who is doing a really strange fucking accent in this movie. I think he's trying to sound American, but he's just not quite there.
I honestly don't think he's trying to do an American accent.
I can't tell if he's trying to or not because it's not his normal accent. But it's not an American accent either.
Is he trying to? Yeah, is he trying to do some like old school Chicago accents? Like I don't know, like not like hey, see, not like that shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like a oi, brother, go Bears.
Did you do a Cockney accent?
Yeah, the Bears, mate.
The Bears, mate.
He was doing a Jason Statham voice.
Absolutely, that would rock. I would watch that.
Michael Caine is Cage's father and is a Pulitzer Prize winner and a famous writer. He seems to be kind of disappointed in Cage. That's the general vibe you get in most conversations. But he's also just been diagnosed with lymphoma and only has a few months to live. That's like the little rundown of Nicolas Cage's life and how things are going at the moment. But
and honestly, we kind of skipped over this earlier. You might have missed this. Nick Cage does monologue a lot in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And once again, he's a great narrator and a monologuer in this movie. There was a National Treasure reference during one of those monologues.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't catch that.
He literally said something about National Treasure. I think he was talking about his dad, like, winning a Pulitzer.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, National Treasure. This movie was released in 2005.
I think that's the same year as National Treasure.
They're going to be able to copy and paste him saying that in another movie.
So it's perfect.
Wait, I always forget if National Treasure came out in 05 or 03.
I know it came out like right around when this movie came out. So.
Yeah, it came out in... and then we'll just pop it in later.
One day, Cage takes his daughter to like a company party where they go ice skating.
And you missed the county fair where Nick Cage dressed up as Abraham Lincoln fucks a woman in a German costume.
Yeah. I did miss that. It wasn't especially plot relevant, but
it was really funny though.
Jess tried to brush over it by saying that he does public speaking events, and he does do public speaking events. But at one of them, he fucks the shit out of some broad dressed as Abraham Lincoln. So
yeah, that was fucking strange.
Yeah, it was so good though. I cried laughing at that moment. That was so fucking funny.
Yeah, meanwhile, his inner monologue is narrating everything that's happening. And a lot of his inner monologue is kind of disjointed. Like he is...
It's kind of, stream of consciousness.
Yeah,
it is. And to be fair, I mean, he thinks a lot about tartar sauce, too, so...
That's true.
That's not till later, and don't worry, I
freaks out about tartar sauce. But, I mean, I wasn't sure if it was trying to convey, like, his natural stream of consciousness or if I'm supposed to think that, like, he has ADHD or something, because he was pretty all over the place. Yeah. Like me.
Yeah.
And me too, to be honest.
Hashtag me too. No.
We just Me Too Taylor.
I mean, listen, we've mentioned a relevant Bryan Singer fact and Al Franken. There's so much Me Too that can happen in this fucking episode. And we just got started.
While Cage is ice skating with his daughter, at the company party. He discovers her cigarettes, but like doesn't say anything, but it does make him concerned. And they end up coming last in a 3-legged ice skating competition. And Shelley gets hurt in the process, tearing both her ACL and MCL. Is that the other one? I don't remember.
As you do in a sack race.
Yeah.
Sometimes that gets really intense.
That's true.
When he brings her home, his ex-wife Noreen is just absolutely pissed, and he gets into a fight with her and her new boyfriend. He calls him like a dildo. And,
Yeah, that was it. You dildo.
Yeah.
You fuckwit.
Her new boyfriend is the almost Tony Soprano.
The almost Tony Soprano.
Yeah, Michael Rispoli. He was second in line to play Tony Soprano after James Gandolfini, but instead ended up being the first mob boss who dies in the middle of the first season.
Okay, so I have a few questions about that. Seeing this guy in this movie, how the fuck was that guy supposed to play Tony Soprano? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
This guy's a giant pussy, and not that kind of giant pussy in this movie.
Well, there is a character named Big Pussy.
I do remember that.
But it's not him. Yeah, it was definitely a good call to not cast him as Tony Soprano.
That would have been an awful choice.
Yeah. But I mean, he's so weak that instead of being the mob boss for the whole series, he dies of cancer. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh, that rocks. Okay, cool.
Spoilers for season 1 of The Sopranos.
It only came out 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Around that?
15, 20, yeah.
Yeah, and also his dad, Michael Caine, is there because he apparently overheard while picking up Shelley at school some of the other kids calling her camel toe. So I guess this is just kind of illustrating that Cage is so like absent from his kid's life. He's not even aware of these little things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, to be fair, his absentness, well, never mind. We'll get into that part later.
And-
but it causes some real trauma.
Don't get me started on the fathers that are so unobservant that they don't see their fucking daughter's pussy eating her pants.
Yeah. That's something every father should know about.
Yeah, every father should be paying attention to that.
Every family
Oh,
man should
God.
know what's happening with their family.
So Cage essentially just kind of begins to lament how he's not a large enough part of his kids' lives. He calls Noreen and says like, "Hey, do you want to go to couples counseling? Because like we're like fucking our arguing is like bad for the kids." And then she's like, "Yeah." So they do that, but Cage fucks this up by just utterly ruining one of the trust exercises and just being a general asshole. He does also at some point get an audition to do weather for a national broadcast called Hello America, which I assume is supposed to be like Good Morning America or something. Which I feel like it's weird to have weather on a national broadcast because weather is kind of a mostly local thing. But,
I mean, to be fair, doesn't like Good Morning America do that?
I don't know. I don't watch those.
Well,
I don't either, but I think they do.
I think they do.
They
Or
probably
maybe fucking Al Roker just thinks the entire country cares what New York's weather is like.
I was thinking it was Al Roker. Like I couldn't remember his
supposed
fucking
to
name.
be.
It's supposed to be Al Roker, yeah.
Yeah, but it's Bryant Gumbel.
Brian Gumble, yes.
Hello America is headed in New York City. And he thinks that if he got this job, he would be really good for him because he thinks he could maybe then like reconcile with Noreen, move the family to New York City, and just reconnect with the kids. And he'd be making like $1 million a year if he gets this job. So it's all good stuff. But in the meantime, he begins taking some archery lessons to take his mind off of things.
And to be fair, earlier in the movie, it's
yeah.
established that he wants his daughter to learn archery with him, and she's not interested at all.
She had expressed interest in it, which I was just going to say, yeah. She did before, and he took her to one class, but they didn't really do anything with it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That was
But
it,
he
yeah.
ends up finding that he's really enjoying it, and he begins to try to teach what he's learned to Shelley in between classes, but yeah, she's just not interested anymore. Apparently, she only wanted to do archery so she could go bow hunting, and they get in a little argument about that. She's like, "I want to kill animals." Like, pretty much exactly what her words. She says, "I want to kill animals," and Cage says, "Well, I don't really want to kill animals. What if we just do target
And to be
shooting?"
fair,
She's
in
like,
this
"No,
movie,
it's
she does kind of act like a little psycho cunt throughout most of it. So
There's an alternate ending where she goes all, "We need to talk about Kevin," and shoots up her school with the bow and arrow.
you know what though? Yeah, if anyone is going to be a future mass murderer in this movie, it would be
Camel toe.
Camel Toe. Yes.
So Mike, not ours, Cage's son, has been hanging out with that older dude a lot. The guidance counselor.
The sexy guidance counselor.
Mhm.
The sexy, vulgar guidance counselor.
He is not sexy, if I may say.
No, he's pretty hot.
I do not find him the least bit
He's
attractive.
got a nice camera though.
He is super, super creepy, has a nice camera.
Which he takes out one day and suggests he take pictures of Mike with his shirt off to show his weightlifting gains, because apparently Mike has been doing weightlifting.
We frankly harass our Mike to do that all the time. But to be
Yeah.
fair, he's an adult.
Yeah.
So we can do that.
And so this is the part in the movie where you start to suspect something might be wrong, but you're not sure yet.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's the thing, like I said, we talked about this earlier, but to be fair, the second I saw him on screen, I was like, oh, that guy's gonna be a pedophile.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Everyone fucking it's obvious.
Well, it's
He
obvious
says
to
without
us.
hesitation, whip that shirt off.
To be fair,
I mean, it made me uneasy right off the bat. I don't know if maybe around this time period a movie wouldn't necessarily go there, but
I don't think in 2005 a movie would have gone there, to be honest.
He's a
But it
very,
did.
very creepy dude.
But especially for a guy who directed like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, that guy would never direct a movie that would go to that point.
Well, Captain
know.
Jack Sparrow was a pedo.
yeah.
That's true, yeah. But no, I mean that whole scene was just like, I'm like, oh god, don't go any further than that. And I'm glad they didn't show anything beyond future Beast taking off his shirt.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he's gonna look like a beast after all those reps that he does.
And he also offers to loan Mike some money to get a camera of his own. And yeah, we see that. And then like afterwards, like when Cage is dropping off Shelly, like Mike is coming back from this and bumps into his dad. And, you know, it seems like pretty clear right there that Mike wants to connect with his dad and have like some sort of familial relationship there. Like, you know, he's looking for a big male figure in his life, and Cage is just unable to do it because he keeps fucking up.
Yeah, and Cage is like, I sit outside the house and watch you in your bedroom. And Mike is relieved to find out that wasn't the guidance counselor.
But then we do see a flashback to when Cage was still with Norween. Norween.
Yeah, Norween, like the band Ween.
Yeah. Flashback to when he was still with Noreen, and it was right about when they decided to get a divorce. He's supposed to get tartar sauce when he's going to get fish from a takeout place, but he's so distracted by random thoughts that pop into his head, like I wish I had two dicks, and
that's the thing I'd like to go down on her, but I don't know. I think most guys do, but not black guys or something like that.
yeah,
Yes.
there's some kind of racist stuff in there too. But
Hey, we all thought it.
Yeah, listen, I wish I had two dicks. Tartar sauce. Black guys don't go down on girls. Tartar sauce.
yes, he keeps repeating the tartar sauce to himself because he knows it's very important, and his wife's gonna be pissed if he forgets it.
But then he gets home and they reach into the bag and there's two dicks in the bag instead of the tartar sauce.
And there's black guys not going down on their girlfriends in the bag too.
Yeah, it's a big bag.
It's like, see, like you took my black guys who don't eat pussy, and you took my two dicks, and you put them together.
Somewhere there's a shitload of tartar sauce and someone is getting their pussy eaten by accident.
Yeah.
By accident by a guy with two dicks.
But yeah,
Or
so
with no dick, sorry.
If a guy had two dicks, he would never go down, let's be honest.
There was that Reddit post of that guy who had two dicks.
Yeah, but if you control F, cunnilingus, or munchin box, you won't find it in that AMA.
No, you won't.
okay. So
I'm pretty sure that guy was white too, though.
Yeah, so they were both pretty mid-level.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, Cage forgot the tartar sauce, and they argue very loudly about it. You know, the kids are like, well, fuck, let's get out of here, and they go watch TV and sit in their bed and like cry and try not to listen to their parents screaming.
And I love his excuse, like, oh, they just ran out of it. And she's like, you know, let me call the place real quick. And then he just gets immediately defensive, which is, that's like a perfect, like, shitty marriage moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That reminds me of so many, like, dysfunctional fucking relationships I've seen in my life.
Oh, they forgot the tartar sauce. And
Yeah.
she can smell the tartar sauce on his breath.
And by the way, bitch, guess what? Just get some mayo, some relish, and a little bit of lemon juice. And guess what? You can make tartar sauce very easily.
Yeah, open up the fucking fridge.
Well,
Noreen.
they didn't have any of that.
They don't have any mayo or relish. Dude, they don't have relish.
I don't have mayo or relish.
They don't have relish in Chicago. They have to have relish.
Okay, that is true.
For their hot dogs.
And mayo. I'm pretty sure they put mayo on the dogs sometimes.
Yeah. And then a little lemon juice. I mean, come on.
But yeah, we see like then still in this flashback, Cage telling Michael Caine that he thinks it's best for the kids if they separate, and his father says like, you know, like, nothing that has meaning is easy, and something about sacrifices. You're gonna have to make those too.
You've always
And,
been a failure to me, son, and I'm from the Midwest, mate.
Sorry.
So Now we're out of the flashback, and pretty soon after, we see Cage is flying to New York, and he's taking Shelley and his father with him to go to the Hello America audition. Or they're coming there for a vacation. Cage is going for the audition, but they're all going to spend time together. So while there, he buys Shelley some new clothes that might help stop getting her bullied. And he
Looser in the pussy area.
yeah, a little bit looser down.
And you know what? That's the thing too. I don't know if we went over this, but there's a really funny explanation on why she thinks that people call her camel toes because she's like strong or something.
Yeah, because camel toes like walk on sand a lot, and so they're like resilient.
Tough. Yeah.
Which is it's a sweet moment. She thinks she's being complimented, and her life won't be ruined because of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good.
But while there, he finds out from his dad, who'd gotten a phone call, that Mike, his son, got arrested for destroying his counselor's car. Apparently, the counselor had tried to go down on Mike, and Mike just wasn't having it.
Oh, and for the record, the counselor is not black.
Yes,
Mhm.
for the record, he's not black. Yes.
When Cage calls home to talk to Noreen about it, like, they get into another big argument. And she's like, well, you know, like, what's this fuck? New boyfriend is helping him. And he's like, that dildo, that fucking, fuck that guy.
He just sees him, and the dildo is the word that comes out of his
You know what?
brain.
It's also really funny is that the big motif in this movie is that no one knows how to swear, and it's hilarious. Like, Bryan Singer doesn't know how to actively swear. Nick Cage doesn't know how to actively swear. Like, no one's good at swearing in this movie. It rocks.
So,
It's
yeah.
true, but that's how you know they're not actually from Chicago, because everybody in Chicago is like, fuck this, suck me.
Well, to be fair, this movie doesn't have any racial slurs, and
Yeah,
that's not very
Chicago.
Chicago.
So Cage is stressed out after he has another conversation with his dad, who's just kind of always a dick. But I mean, like, I feel like dads of that generation, that's just what they were. They were assholes, you know?
I mean, honestly, I think Michael Caine is probably one of the least insufferable old Midwest dads I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but
I think
he's
he
got like
rocks.
this whole like disdain in everything he says and does, which that's a very dad thing.
To be
That's what
fair,
I
It's a
say.
very Midwest dad thing, too.
if
I
my
feel.
kid was some fucking lowly weatherman making six figures, I'd disown him too.
Yeah. Yeah, be better.
Yeah, try a little harder.
Yeah. Win a Pulitzer like I did.
Yeah,
But yeah,
win
Cage
a weather award.
Cage does some hard drinking right after that, even though his audition is tomorrow. And he kind of pictures himself and his family on a Macy's parade float, hearing the announcer talk about how his life is turned around after getting the Hello America job. The next day at the interview, he thinks he's done pretty well, and he'll know in a few days whether or not he gets the job. But yeah. When Cage returns home to his family, he pretty much immediately goes to try to talk to Mike, but Noreen's boyfriend is there, and he just slaps him in the face with a glove, like an old school, like 1700s duel.
Oh,
is
it's
being
hilarious. They
initiated.
just like, yeah, like some 18th century, like fucking bitch slap with a glove.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Oh, I never. Like, it's like that.
Pistols at dawn. So he's upset that guy's been talking to Mike before him. He also apparently, like, his mother, who just appears briefly in this movie but isn't like an actual named character or has any lines.
I was gonna say, she doesn't even have any lines of dialogue, does she?
She's apparently planning like an early funeral thing.
A living funeral is, I believe,
Yeah.
what they call it.
A living funeral for Michael Caine since he's
Basically,
dying
the guy
of
who's
lymphoma.
gonna die gets to put together like the Spotify playlist for his funeral.
But before that, Cage gets badgered by a bunch more people around town. One throws a McDonald's pie after him, and he just runs after the guy and shoves it
Wait.
into his face through the open
You
car
said gets
window.
badgered? This movie takes place in Wisconsin, too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Keeps getting hit with fast food items, and he's like, "Leave me alone. I'm the weatherman."
To be fair, you know for...
Weather.
My forecast is much worse than it might.
If this movie did take place in Wisconsin, Nick Cage would be constantly getting hit by deep fried cheese curds and custard.
Yeah.
And Butterburgers, too.
I feel like there's Culvers in the Chicago area.
There
gotta
is,
be.
too, but that's like
'Cause
more
they're
of
all over the Midwest.
Yeah,
but we
that's
own that
a
shit.
Wisconsin.
That's our thing.
though.
Did they come from Wisconsin, or
Yes,
did
they
they
did,
just start
yes.
somewhere in the
They
Midwest?
started in like Sauk
Okay.
City or some shit, like Sauk City.
Yeah. If it took place in Wisconsin, it would be like, "Hey, why'd you hit me with that cousin sub over here?"
So, good news is after he gets hit with the pie and shoves it back at the guy, he gets offered the job at Hello America on the phone. And then at the living funeral, he walks up and presents this to Noreen and is like, hey, and I'm going to be making like $1 million. Like, we can, reconnect, go with the kids, get into New York City. You want to try this again? And she's like, hey, I'm marrying my boyfriend, Russ. This is where I finally take note of his name.
Russ Spoley. Michael Russ Spoley.
So Cage then pretty much is like dejected, and he goes to his car and gets his bow and arrow out of the trunk and starts shooting at the tree outside, doing target practice. He then sees like Russ walks out having a cigarette, and Cage kind of draws an arrow and aims it at Russ. And the whole family sees this, but Cage doesn't let loose. He just does it.
I mean, to be fair, that's very much of a we need to talk about Kevin moment.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody saw him pointing the arrow at Russ, and nobody saw his daughter pointing the arrow at Russ.
Shortly after, Cage has to give the speech at his father's living funeral, and at the very start of his speech, he says, when I think of my dad, I think of Bob Seger's like a rock, and then the power goes out. And when the power comes back on, no one remembers that Cage was even speaking. So the entirety of his speech was comparing his father to Like a Rock by Bob Seger.
Yeah, I think what he meant to
which
say
plays
was,
in the movie.
Yeah.
my dad makes me think of a Ford commercial because he's short
built Ford
and
tough.
I zone out whenever he comes on the screen.
So we see that a few days later, Cage has apparently been so depressed that he hasn't even returned the Hello America phone call yet and confirmed that he's accepting the job. And he then ends up going over to like Mike's counselor's place and just beats the shit out of the guy and says like, he's only a fucking kid, which is like, go for it, Cage.
Honestly,
There we
that
go.
scene, I was cheering. I was like, yeah!
I was cheering too, and I'm glad he didn't. It's 2005. I expected a homophobic slur or two also.
Well, you
in
know what? It's
addition to-
2005. He could have saved us from Bohemian Rhapsody if he would just was willing to curb stomp us.
Yeah, he would have punched just a little bit harder.
To be fair, though, he also would have saved us from Days of Future Past. So never mind, Nick Cage, save him from now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let
kill
him
him
be okay.
after that.
Yes.
Just fucking beat him up. Let's get rid of Bryan Singer way in the past. He began his molestations in the late 90s with that fucking program, that thing. There's a guy named Mark Collins Rector, if you look him up. He created a whole company that was basically just founded on molesting young boys.
Yeah, it's
in
called
Hollywood.
every production company.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, maybe don't look into that. But
Well, we joke a lot, but why hasn't Bryan Singer been stopped?
yeah, seriously.
It's insane.
It's a good
It's
question.
been known for a long fucking time.
I mean, why hasn't Kevin Spacey been stopped, even though one of his accusers, quote unquote, committed suicide in a very sketch way?
And then he fucking uploaded that YouTube video, which is definitely an admission of guilt and could probably be used in a court of law. So
Yeah. Instead of Cage Fight, we should be doing the Outing Pedophiles podcast.
I mean, we kind of are. You know
do
what?
True Anon, but for the Midwest, and
Hell yeah.
frankly, more queer.
But
The Q stands for queer. Sorry.
So after Cage beats up that guidance counselor, beats up Bryan Singer, he tells Mike, and Mike seems pretty happy about it. And he tells him, like, hey, like, you're just a kid, and you shouldn't go getting yourself into grown-up situations just yet, okay? Like, come on.
And there was some weird subtext about the corn dog.
There was. I don't know why they put that in there, but they did.
Was it supposed to be like shaped like a dick? Like I don't
Well,
understand.
see, it matches both
that.
the fast food motif and the sucking off motif. So
I
it's kind
legit
of the
thought that's what they were
cross-section.
trying to go for that, but it's like, wait, you just beat up the pedophile. Why are you insinuating that him eating a corn dog is sexual? Like, I don't understand what they're going for on that. I just
You
don't.
should have fucking gotten him Arby's, dude.
Yeah, they got the meats. Well, no shit, that doesn't work either. No!
But yeah, we did see a montage of all the times that Cage was hit by thrown food, and he says it was always fast food. And he compares himself to fast food, saying he's easy, quick, tastes all right, but he provides no nourishment. And that's what his life is. And he's still kind of sitting there lamenting his life. But later, Cage gets into a car with his father, who is playing Solid Like a Rock. And
Solid as a rock. That one, right?
no,
The
I
Bob
don't think so.
Seger song.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, the other rock song. Okay.
He asked Cage, like, so So what did you mean by that? And then like Cage kind of explains it a little bit, and then he's like, Cage, you've done a good job taking care of Mike's counselor and getting that job in New York City. It's like I'm actually like proud of you here. And they have a bit of a bonding moment, and Cage kind of like cries, sitting there lamenting his life.
Honestly, that scene almost fucked me up. That scene was just very sad, and also it's one of the most Midwest scenes of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very Midwest moment.
Michael Caine kind of embraces Nicolas Cage and he says,
Son, I just want you to tell me one thing. What's a dildo, love?
he says
Michael Caine knew what a camel toe was before
that's true.
Nicolas Cage did in this movie, so I bet he knows a dildo or two.
And I mean, also Michael Caine at one point says something along the lines of, sometimes, son, you just have to chuck the shit. Just chuck it. In that moment, I'm just like, oh my God. That is a very Midwest thing to say, because in the Midwest, like, just shit gets constantly thrown at you and you just have to learn to chuck it back, basically.
I think part of that too was Michael Caine like was swearing, and then the whole rest of the movie Caine was like criticizing Cage for swearing so much. So like I think it was like a little bit of like showing like he's like, hey, you're all right. I know I've given you a hard time, but you're a good dude.
And once again, that was also a very Midwest thing too, because I feel like dads in the Midwest don't really ever show their emotions until they're like 3 seconds from dying.
See, I don't think this is just a Midwest dad thing. I think you just got the Midwest sample pool.
No,
because I feel like
it's literally just a Midwest dad. Every other, like, go to the mountain states, all their dads are supremely emotionally open. Go to the deep south, their dads are all extremely emotionally open.
Maybe now with the newer generation of dads, but I feel like pretty much every generation of dads that began raising their kids.
You're frankly wrong. The only dads who are emotionally cut off live in the Midwest.
Okay.
As a fact.
Pretty soon after this, Michael Caine dies, and at his actual funeral, it is clear that Cage's children have begun to reconnect with Cage a little bit. Like they walk up to him and they're nice to him and they talk to him and they seem well prepared and stuff. And we see a flash forward, and Cage's family is then seeing him on national TV in NYC doing the weather. And he's still doing his archery in Central Park, and he gets asked by an autograph by some random guy, and he actually gives the guy the autograph, unlike in the earliest scene in the movie where a guy asked him for an autograph and he's like, that's not me. I don't think you think I am who you think you are.
And also, that's the only other time he asked for an autograph in the movie, but everyone always asks him, what's the nipper?
Oh, yeah.
Which is the coldest day of the week, I would assume?
Yes.
And every time it's like, I don't fucking know what the nipper is, you fucking fuck! And I was like, oh, shit, okay, shit.
The people around town, the fans in general, just don't seem to throw things anymore at him. He's better respected, which is interesting considering if I've heard anything about New York City, it's that the people there are all dicks to random pedestrians.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think they're classier than throwing fast food. They probably throw things like gold covered turds.
Yeah.
or like a brick.
Or like a brick. Or like frankly, a slice of a thin crust of pizza, not the deep dish of bullshit.
Yeah. You can afford this piece. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it ends with a monologue of Cage saying that things didn't turn out as he predicted, but that's okay. And that's kind of like his whole life. He's a weatherman. He predicts things and they don't turn out how they are. He also says, like, nothing comes easy in adult life. And he has made a uniquely American accomplishment. And I think that uniquely American accomplishment is making $1 million doing a non-essential job while many people work themselves to death with no labor rights or healthcare.
Yeah, I think he says, I finally made it, and I'm loving
like
it. McDonald's.
But that's the end of the movie. And what's everybody think of this one?
I fucking love this movie. I thought it was hilarious. I was engaged like pretty much the entire time, and I thought the performances were all enjoyable, at least in their own way.
Yeah,
I was very engaged throughout this movie. I really liked it.
Yeah, I was surprised with how engaged I was by a movie that's so like kind of niche. It's not something you would expect to engage you quite as much as it does, I feel like, or at least me.
It's got a very generic name, like another Nick Cage movie we all loved involving a man.
Rage.
Yes, Rage, yes.
But yeah, I thought this was a really good movie. I really liked the stylization of it. And all the monologues and stuff I thought was pretty nice.
And you said the movie was shot in Chicago. You can really tell.
Oh,
like
for
the
sure.
like the scenery looked. I mean, of course, the city of Chicago, but like just the suburban house that like Noreen lives in, and
Yeah, the Michael Jordan statue.
yes, it's just like a very uniquely like Great Lakes Midwest type environment, and it really was like, oh god, I feel like this could have just been shot down the fucking street or something. Like it's, I don't know, I liked it, and I like as well the look of this film because they really did capture the look of like a shitty winter in the Midwest very well.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and they definitely captured the spirit of Chicago by doing shooting in Chicago.
Yeah. Yes, and also having fast food constantly thrown at you, but not deep dish on pizza. Unfortunately, they should have done that.
What I will say is what they didn't capture about true Midwest winter, and that I don't think I've ever seen in a movie, is that the snow is never white. It's always gray and slushy and stains everything.
Oh,
it touches.
especially in the
And
urban parts of the Midwest.
Yes,
Yeah, they
anything
actually
near a
use like
road.
really old potatoes for that.
Yeah, but that's true. Every city in the Midwest in winter has snow that's like blacker than my soul. So
Yes.
Yeah, blacker than my fucking dirty hole.
yeah, it's so black that it frankly won't go down.
Oh. But
Hey, that was a movie reference.
it's
That was
a
a movie
reference to the movie we just discussed. I'll say that. But this
Listen, if you're a black guy listening to this podcast, I believe you probably eat pretty good pussy. I'm just saying that out loud. You probably do.
Yeah, send us a video of you doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So this, I thought, yeah, good movie, solid movie. Enjoyed it quite a bit more than I kind of was expecting to, given the premise. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about the weather. Whenever somebody asks me about the weather, like makes a comment about the weather, I fantasize about crushing their skull.
And to be fair, not because you're angry, that's just part of your fetish. You have a crush fetish.
Yeah.
So.
Anybody else got any other thoughts to add? I know we didn't really say very much, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I need to watch this movie a second time to really kind of analyze it and not just be taking notes on the raw plot and actually more absorb what's going on in it.
Like, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of subtle nuances of this film that I think would probably benefit people from watching it more than once, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it's even on a first watch, though, it is just a really solid film.
Yeah,
It's a really solid, even good film.
I can definitely see myself rewatching this, like, just of my own volition after it gets eliminated, you know.
Rightfully, yes.
So,
Dave, do you have a little plot summary for us on what just went on? You heard me, you fool. Yeah! Yeah, that's right. Fucking lay it on us.
yeah, pussy. Well, Dave is cheaping up the juice up there. That was pretty perfect.
Yeah. That's a good, pretty good summary of what's going on.
I think Dave.
I don't know what I loved more, that description or the actual movie itself.
I think Dave actually encapsulated Bryan Singer's performance in the movie the best just from those samples.
Yeah.
Just from his summary there.
Yeah, his eyes become large when he like sees a young boy walking.
Yeah.
So,
my camera brings all the boys to my house and they're like, hey, I don't want to take off my shirt.
but I'm like, hey, take off your shirt.
Shit. But
then
Mike,
I guess maybe Amazon reviews.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mike, get to the Amazon reviews
bang.
before we get investigated by the FBI.
Yeah, I got some Amazon reviews for you cucks and fucks out here and you dildos out here. Got a review from A. Constantino who says they wrote a review titled Brilliance and they say, the weatherman took me totally by surprise. You really have to have a decent intellect to appreciate it, though. Like American Beauty, it delves deeply into the private lives of its characters and reveals the things that make them suffer through every day.
To be fair, you do need to have a pretty high IQ to understand the weather-man.
And also, like American Beauty, this has an older pedophile in it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true, yes.
Yeah, you do have to have a pretty deep intellect to understand this movie, much like our next reviewer, Logical Paradox.
Jess, why did you write this review?
No, we already discussed the one that I wrote. Which,
You have
it was in
multiple-
a previous episode.
Yeah, you have
I only
multiple
have one
sock
Amazon
accounts. You have
account.
multiple fake accounts.
I'm too lazy to have sock accounts.
Logical Paradox writes a review titled Not for Everyone. Certain films require a certain audience. And I will add that require is misspelled. Logical Paradox writes, art is a funny thing. Some art gains universal praise and mainstream acceptance because of its mass appeal. Then you have the sort of art that demands a certain audience in order to be appreciated. The Weatherman also spelled wrong, is a little like those...
Wait, is it spelled like whether or not?
No, just a simple typo, but I just wanted to point it out because Logical Paradox seems like the kind of guy who wants to get it right. The Weatherman is a little like those paintings of the big triangles in that it's simply not a movie that is likely to gain a wide following, even among movie fans. It's quirky, odd, very detached, and full of dry humor. The monotonous delivery of this movie will impress some people as being bland and lacking depth. It is not. I don't know what this guy's saying.
Yeah, will impress. I mean,
I don't know
what
the paintings of the triangles. I don't. What are the triangles?
Like the magic eye posters that you have to like stare at to get the message.
That's when you know you're really smart, is when you're like, oh, that, instead of like actual art.
This is a thoughtfully introspective,
it's all art. It's
character-driven, highly symbolic film. Cage is excellent. The offbeat nature will turn many off, but for those who can appreciate the eccentricity of this movie, the reward will be an entertaining, interesting experience that will only grow on you. You must watch it with an open mind. You must watch it when in a contemplative mood, and you must watch it through to the end. There's lots to get from this movie, but the treasure hidden within is going to require a treasure hunter of certain character. Frankly, most people won't have the patience nor the will to extract it. Others will miss the point entirely.
So how many stars is that?
5 stars.
So like everyone who reviewed this movie just thinks that they're like super smart for having watched it.
I will say everybody who liked this movie thinks they're super special for having liked it.
Okay.
You know, I feel the exact same way. I'm frankly smarter than everyone on this podcast, and I liked this movie a lot. So.
Oh yeah. Big boy brain over there, fucking exploding.
I mean, to be fair, I'm one of the few people with a boy brain here.
That's true.
Look, you two are in the majority. You three
don't have a brain, so you can't say I have
doesn't
a
have
boy
a brain, and Dave's gender identity is still unknown. I believe that was a feminine ooh-ah-ah.
But a masculine
I think ooh-ah-ah goes by they, them pronouns.
I have another review from...
The Yabba Dabba Doo definitely goes by Zeezer.
I have a review from 6 Foot Diva, who says...
wait. You said 6 Foot Diva?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a fetish. That's a fetish persona name.
And 6 Foot Diva...
No, that's just me.
Yeah!
6 Foot Diva. How many sock puppet... You said you don't have sock accounts. 6 Foot Diva writes, funny movie, LOL, at Camel Toe.
Okay, you know what? That was definitely just a sock account.
5 stars.
That was definitely just a sock account.
You're damn
Wait,
right.
that's a whole review?
That's the whole review.
Yeah! Hell yeah, dude, that rocks.
Peter wrote a review, and the title is, I really enjoyed this movie. Nicolas Cage is a great actor, and it deserves more than 3 stars. And in the body, he writes, don't bother me. 5 stars.
What?
Is this like a primitive, like, don't at me?
I think this deserves more than 3 stars, which you can also say by just rating it more than 3 stars, which he did, but...
That's literally like a hot take time. I'm a centrist. Don't at me. Like, what the fuck?
Don't bother me.
Yeah.
I loved this.
Yeah.
And that's all Peter said.
Yeah. He was thinking about putting up a do not disturb sign in his hotel, but he just ended up writing it down on the note there.
You know, this thing, if this guy does have private property, it literally says private property, don't bother me.
I have a review from Michelle, who writes, thank goodness for Fast Forward. I love Michael Caine, and he was the only good part of this movie. And
I actually think he was one of the weaker parts of this movie.
I'll agree to disagree, but he's not the strongest part of this movie.
And the too short beat-up scene where the dad, Nicolas Cage, was finally worthy to watch.
Wait.
I just want to take that one more time.
Yeah, you want to try that one more time?
The rapper Too Short beat up.
The too short beat up scene where the dad, Nicolas Cage, was finally worthy to watch.
Oh, okay. I think.
Wait.
So that's
What?
one of the few good parts is the scene. It was too short, and now Nicolas Cage is finally a human being who's worthy of being watched and acknowledged. I think that's what I don't know.
Well,
I think he's saying it's too short, and now this movie's finally worth watching because someone got assaulted,
Yeah,
even if they deserve
the
it.
scene was too short.
And it was. I mean, and to be fair though, Nick Cage does like viciously assault this guy. I mean, not enough
does beat the
viciously
guy pretty
assaults,
hard.
but he does beat him up pretty bad.
she continues, otherwise, this was one of the most painful loser movies I have ever seen. Who wants to spend 2 hours immersed in the life of an unbearable moron and his poor neglected kids with the dialogue such as, what? Sputtered more than anything real.
What?
Well, this person wouldn't like our podcast.
You know what, Michelle? I don't think you have a deep enough intellect for this movie or this podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Michelle is never invited as a guest for this show ever.
Yeah, fuck you.
Man, fuck Michelle.
I have a review from Davis Reaper who says, "Story for a loser."
Is that the Grim Reaper when he finally takes Jonathan Davis from Korn?
Yes. It's Jonathan Davis recording via Reaper. Story for a loser.
To be fair, Jonathan Davis did record a cover of "Don't Fear the Reaper" by Blue Oyster Cult, and that's what that is.
Not a feel good movie. Davis Reaper didn't like it. Brenda Hannaran writes, found this film to be rather depressing. 2 stars. Sorry that you got bummed out by the sad movie.
And that was it, right?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
I have a review from Saved by Grace.
Oh, fuck no! This person loves Left Behind.
And that's Saved by Grace with 3 exclamation points, so you know they mean it. And Saved
This was
by
definitely-
Grace writes,
Maybe they're just really grateful that their friend Grace pushed them out of the way of a speeding vehicle. I don't know.
well, I think you'll have some context in a second, because Saved by Grace writes, skip it. Beware the constant F-bombs, the God D-bombs, and not just from the adults. And last but not least, the nudity, which I think is just that one tit.
It's literally that
comes
one
out.
tit coming out of her dirt. Was it dirtle or whatever the fuck? It's like that German dress?
German girdle, yeah.
Yes, girdle, yes.
Dirndl
or something
the
like that?
God D-bombs. Are we just going to let that slip by?
No, that was my favorite part, the God D-bombs.
The God D-bones!
Well, this movie...
You better not sing the God D-bones in this household, boy!
This movie was rated R, so going into it, you're running the risk of hearing a couple F-bombs, a
Yes.
couple of God D-bombs, which I
And,
think you can
and
probably
frankly,
say
a
in
couple
PG-13.
titties.
Yeah, I mean,
Just the one titty, but still.
yeah.
You should
I think-
expect that.
I think Saved by Grace would have been happier if the other titty would have made an appearance. Our next review comes from John Phylon III, who says, don't watch it. Disturbing movie. I get it. We all go through tough times with being a parent and life, but do you have to expose a young girl to be portrayed like that in a movie? Hollywood just had to get their gay young boy in there to turn themselves on.
Okay, okay, he's not gay and he gets molested. What the fuck?
God
Hey,
damn.
but they're getting off to it. That's why they had to put it in
Jesus
there.
Christ.
Cage, you made
Jesus.
some good movies, but this one was about as low as you can get. Wimpy on protecting your son? The glove scene was perfect. Don't do that, LMAO. What is really sad is kids are going to watch this because Cage is in it, and they will think this is normal.
Okay, first off, this is not a movie that kids are gonna watch.
Kids love Nicolas Cage, and they gotta see his newest
Kids
R-rated
I mean,
love
it's
movie.
Nicolas Cage. Why not?
They love movies about depressed men in their 30s, like
Yeah.
in a career that they.
Yeah, I was having
are
a
having a
midlife
hard time
crisis
with
and
it.
dealing with his like fucking like despondent children. That's not a thing that kids will search out. What the fuck?
Yeah.
This person's a fucking idiot.
There was a lot of great reviews for this, so I'm
That
sorry.
is-
Let
that
me.
is the most mad I've been at a review since that racist World Trade Center review. Fuck this person. I hope they die.
I'm sorry for having so many, but let me get through these last few. I have one from KF who writes, a good movie doesn't require humping.
What?
Our returning customer,
The only good movies have humping.
That's true. Objectively, yes.
returning reviewer Amazon customer writes, avoid, not a family movie, XXX.
So wait. You know what happened is they were looking for the family man. They accidentally rented weatherman.
Yes. And-
Are these people like not aware of like the fucking fact that every movie like has an MPAA rating? Well, not every movie has an MPAA rating, but they have content warnings and they pretty clearly list what it is on the outside of the packaging or
this
like whatever
person
site you're looking at. Or
this person specifically has a problem with the rating
yeah.
because they say horrible. This movie should be rated XXX.
Oh,
Because of the one tit and the god D bombs, I guess. Not
And,
appropriate.
well, to be fair, the shirtless underage boy, too.
Oh, yes. Not appropriate for family or anyone for that matter. Nudity, sex scene came out of nowhere, no warning, bad acting punctuated by bad script and zero dialogue. Did not finish movie. Big waste of time. I do like Nicolas Cage in a few movies such as National Treasure and Wind Talkers.
oh,
This movie is the bottom
Wind
of the
Talkers.
barrel.
Uh,
Boo yuck. 1 star only because you can't leave 0 stars. And my final review comes from Jack of All Trades, and it is our all caps review of the week.
yeah.
Jack of All Trades writes, "This is Hollyweird's idea of what life is like. The protagonist is irredeemably shallow, selfish, and clueless. His lost family is one only Hollywood executives could recognize. Cage wasn't even likable in this one. The film was very literary in that it was all flashback and the hero was an idiot, so the literati will love it. But if you seek films with protagonists you can identify with, avoid this abortion."
Now, to be fair, literati, that was
Abortion.
I think, wasn't that Lady Gaga's fan base?
No, I think you're thinking of Illuminati.
The Illuminati, yes, okay, yes. Very fair.
Okay, so wait. I'm confused. Like only like people who are into literature like movies with a dumb protagonist. Is that what they? Because they said like an idiot protagonist. So
See-
of course.
Well, to be fair, only literary people like Of Mice and Men.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This was all mouse
there.
and no man.
Yeah.
I mean, literally think of a single book that normal people like that has a mentally challenged person in it.
Do they have books based on Everybody Loves Raymond?
I think so.
Okay.
I think they do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Da Vinci
this is
Code has
so-
Tom Hanks in it. So.
The Fanatic.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair,
normal
only
people love
only
that.
only literary smart people like The Fanatic. That's
The
why we love The
Penguin
Fanatic.
classic, The Fanatic.
Yeah, to be you have to really high IQ to understand moose.
Anyway, that's the end of the episode. See you next time.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's all we got for the Weatherman. Stay tuned to hear us talk about the Ant Bully, and then also hear which one of these two is going to be the victor in this matchup. But we'll be back in about 20-30 seconds. Bye bye. Welcome back, everybody. Here we are in part 2, ready to hit you with that Ant Bully.
Oh yeah.
Pussy.
All right, partner. You know what? Oh shit!
Yeah.
It's not that time. Fuck. Never mind. I fucked that up. Okay.
This came out in 2006. It was rated PG, and it was directed and written by John A. Davis.
Yeah, who I believe is the vocalist for the band Korn, correct?
Yeah, well, no. See, this John has an H.
Yeah, this was written and directed by John Davis, who also
takes this role.
wrote and directed the greatest movie ever made,
Uh-huh.
Jimmy Neutron.
Oh shit! You know, honestly, the animation style does really remind me of Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's
This
better
movie-
than Jimmy Neutron's animation, but Jimmy Neutron did come out like 2000.
You know what? How about no? Jimmy Neutron is the best animation of all time.
Yeah, this movie needed Ultralord for sure.
Yeah, I think it needed Carl and
and
Sheen.
some llamas.
Oh yeah. Some
Yeah.
fucking llamas.
Um,
And a hot ass mom.
And also that hot ass dog, a robot dog. Fuck yeah! It's like bark. Oh yeah, bring that barking ass over here.
So produced by Legendary Pictures, Playtone, and DNA Productions.
I believe DNA Productions was the same production company that did the animation for Jimmy Neutron, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
DNA Productions, which was responsible for Jimmy Neutron and some of like the Weird Al show. And this movie was the last thing they ever did because it put them straight into the ground.
Oh, okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's,
And we'll be talking about that in a little bit.
Yeah, speaking of, this movie had a budget of $50 million and a box office gross.
I'm gonna guess 3.5. Okay, so what's the national like GDP of China every year? So like around $4 trillion, I think is what we made.
I'm going to say 250 million.
Okay, that's fair.
55.2 million, but this one is in fact in the black.
But to be fair, we
as-
talked to Rod last time. I don't really think that's that much of a in the black.
Yeah, I think this would still be considered quite a failure and a flop, but
But for
you know,
us, it's technically in the black.
that's 22 out of 52 movies, my friend.
Baby!
We're so close to half.
Mhm.
We're super close to half at this point.
Yeah, that is surprising. And we got some pretty good movies in the pipeline. So this
Oh,
thing
yeah.
just might shake out for the Cage Man.
To be fair, though, we do know for a fact that even really good movies still sometimes are in the red for Nick Cage.
Yeah, that's true. Because
Some notable ones like Red Rock West was very, very much in the red rock.
Yeah, the title was in the red.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes, this got 62% from critics, 42% from audiences.
Massive dip.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Critics like this a lot more than people did.
To be fair, I think the critics
critics
were,
are lizards.
I think the critics were talking about the great performances from certain members that would go on and do very notable things later on in their career.
Yeah, weirdly stacked cast in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's all the regular information. Now, what about the fun information?
Well, here's a fun one. This was the final theatrical movie of Ricardo Montalban before he died.
Who's
As we know
Ricardo
from-
Montalban?
He's the guy that played Khan in Wrath of Khan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wait, who is he in this movie?
He was the head of council in this movie.
Yeah, he was like the old ant.
Oh,
Old ant guy.
okay. I know who that is.
And also, who else was in this movie, Mike?
You know who else was in this movie? Good old Ally Mack from the Nexium Sex Cult.
just what the fuck? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? Okay, so here's the thing. We've said this a lot on the show that every single movie involving Nick Cage has similarities. So this episode is sex predators. In the last movie we watched, The Weatherman has a fictional sex predator. This one has a literal real life sex trafficker
Yeah.
as a role. As a character.
Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell Jr. is in this movie.
And to be fair, I think the person who was essentially the leader of this cult is now in prison for, I believe, the rest of their lives, correct?
The rest of a few people's
I was just looking
lives.
at Wikipedia. It's 120 years.
Oh, 120.
Yeah, and this person basically played second fiddle to that. And as far as I'm aware, she hasn't been sentenced to prison yet.
I don't know.
This person who literally trafficked women and branded them as part of this weird sex cult?
I mean,
She's not getting any prison time? Really?
Prison's no place for a lady.
That's true. Or Nicolas Cage.
I know that was pretty light-hearted trivia, but it just gets more fun from there. Just before the release of this movie, most of the employees of DNA Productions were laid off, and the studio was closed. So a lot of people out of work after this one. Tom Hanks.
More like bomb. Thanks.
Tom Hanks, if you talk to any QAnon people, also a pedophile.
Wait, really?
Well, to be fair, he got Greek citizenship specifically so he could molest kids. Did you hear that one?
When it was announced that he had COVID, this was at the time the height of me being on my Republican troll account, and so I saw a lot of memes being posted about how he these people believe that he is the leader of the pedophiles. Tom Hanks, for some reason.
Really?
Yes.
Yes,
God,
but to
there's
be
too many
fair,
fucking I don't know. I can't keep up with all the fucking crazy QAnon theories.
You know the
I
thing, though,
tried
right?
to learn
It's-
about this, and there's so many that I just I gave up.
you know, the thing, Republicans
yeah.
are really stupid. I think we need to reiterate, right? Because they focus on Tom Hanks, but they completely forget about the literal sex predator that was in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
But Tom Hanks, QAnon poster boy, originally conceived of the idea for an animated film based on the Ant Bully book after reading it with his child. So he, I think, was one of the producers on this.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And to be fair, talk about producers. Did he produce other things involving children? I think QAnon people think he did.
Yeah, sound off in the
Sound off in the chat real quick, folks.
QAnon people tweet at us.
We'll definitely be respectful when we reply.
You know, I think we should follow a bunch of Q people, and then they follow us back, and then we just we just post Q content from now on.
We should do that.
I don't want to do that.
By the way,
Is it the Cage Fight podcast? We're the Q Fight podcast.
No.
we got our first spam DM to the Twitter account last night.
Oh,
I
shit.
did see that. Yeah.
I was sitting on the couch with my partner when my phone lit up, and on the screen says, "Oops, you caught me in the shower." Something.
Here's a photo of my ass.
It's like a picture of an ass. Yeah.
Wait. It said, really?
Here, you know what?
I get shit like that all the
That
time on
rocks.
Twitter, and it bothers. Well, Instagram
rocks.
in particular.
I don't have a ton of trivia for this, so I can go ahead and read off this DM that we got
Yes, please.
last night.
That rocks.
To the Cage Fight Twitter account. It got deleted.
Oh yeah, I deleted
Oh,
that.
you deleted
I'm sorry.
it.
I didn't realize it would delete everywhere. I thought maybe
One of my friends at one point
That was
mentioned
Jess's ass, I bet.
one of my
It was
friends
firm, very
mentioned,
firm.
Yeah, it was Jess's ass is very
then
firm.
it's
I can tell
definitely
you that
not my
much.
ass.
Oh, it is definitely Jess's ass. Let me tell you.
So the role of Momo, Lucas's grandmother, was originally voiced by Shirley MacLaine, and was eventually recast with Lily Tomlin. And the same thing happened with the Bruce Campbell character, which was originally Alan Cumming.
Wait, Bruce Campbell's in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, he's one of the ants. He's the
one of
scout ant.
Yeah.
How the fuck did I not notice that? I love Bruce Campbell.
Big fan.
Big fan of
I didn't know this was a Sam Raimi movie. Just kidding.
Sam Raimi would have done a better job directing it.
For sure. And the last piece of trivia I have is that this is the first theatrically released animated movie for Nicolas Cage.
Oh shit, are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, it's Nicolas Cage. Why
Oh
not?
yeah, no.
Brr, brr.
A Christmas Carol, the movie came out before this, but that was only on TV.
Theatrically released movie by Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, and Christmas Carol also doesn't count because it fucking blows hard chunks.
And he's
My
barely
guy.
in the fucking thing.
Yeah, he's yeah.
That blows my mind, honestly. It took this long for him to be in a
Yeah, it is kind of surprising.
Well, it wasn't until like these mid 2000s DreamWorks movies that they started getting regular like live action actors to do voices. Prior to that, like voice acting was done by voice actors,
right.
and then it was around this time where they started to do it for star power, essentially.
I was gonna say, really, the first big movie to do that was probably Shrek.
Yes.
Yeah, which was it was supposed to be Chris Farley, and then he
And then he died.
right? He
Or
wasn't able to do it.
Yeah.
because he died.
You know, I think it was.
He was busy doing speedballs.
I think he got. I think he got taken in by Donald Trump, and a clone of him overdosed on heroin, cocaine. That was it.
Heroin and cocaine mixed together.
Yes. So I believe
I know that because I know what a speedball is only because it's what both Chris Farley and John Belushi died of. Evidently.
Yes.
yeah.
And they both should have been Shrek, but instead
we got a mentally challenged Scottish man to do it.
He's Canadian. Thank you very much.
He was born in Scotland. To be fair,
to say mentally challenged because it's implied by Canadian.
That's true. Yes. All of our poutine fucking Maple Monkey listeners, you've been fucking wrecked.
Whoa. Wait, poutine?
Putin?
Whoa! Poutine?
Oh my god!
More like poop-teen. Mm-hmm. Fucking
you know what I call Canada?
Loses.
Russia Junior.
Bunch of commies.
Every time we get followed, it gives us a timestamp, and it's in Toronto time.
Yes.
Which basically it's kind of Moscow if you think about it.
You know why they got free healthcare in Canada? Because all the freaking liberals are knocking up their daughters.
All those commie liberals, those Putin commie liberals.
Yeah,
commie liberals. Yeah,
those commie liberals.
Man, we just fucking wrecked those Canuck fucks.
We Canucked those fucks.
Yeah, we cucked those Canucks.
Cucknuck.
Cucknuck. Okay. Is that all you have for trivia?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, well...
That was like 20% trivia and 80%
yelling.
That was 80% xenophobia.
Yeah.
So, going on to a plot summary. So, Nicolas Cage is an ant wizard who finds some, like, fire crystals, which are apparently the key to making a potion that will be the culmination of his life's work.
And the fire crystals, because everything is different to them because they're ants, is actually just like a bunch of Prilosec OTC that falls out of somebody's pocket.
Wouldn't that be like preventing the fire? 'Cause that stops heartburn.
That's true, but yeah, fuck you.
Okay.
To be fair, an animated movie would make a fucking pharmaceutical commercial in 2006 or whatever.
Oh yeah, probably.
Because a lot of those commercials were like, "Hey, you guys got bad mucus? Here's these weird mucus monsters to fucking advertise our product."
Here's a cute cartoon circle. That's how you feel.
And I am a bee, and you have allergies.
It's like,
That was a bad bit. I don't know if
That was great.
on my part.
no, that was a rockin' bit. Hey, Jess, can you talk about that bee a little bit more?
Yes.
Or talk about the Minecraft bee, right? It's trans
I'm
or something,
getting, like,
right?
Pepe Le Pew voice is all I'm coming up with here. I don't remember
Yeah, the
if that
Pepe
was
the
even-
Frog voice.
Oh. So Lucas is a young boy who is bullied by older kids. Quote, because I'm big and you're small, is what the bully says to him.
Yeah. And so what's smaller than a kid that he could lash out on?
That's true.
Ants.
Oh.
Yeah, he uses this logic to justify shooting the Nick Cage anthill with a squirt gun and just kicking it apart. And this strengthens Cage's resolve to solve the quote human problem. Which,
the human question.
yeah,
This is the second movie in a row that we've watched on this episode that involves a kid who goes nuts and probably shoots up a bunch of stuff.
yeah.
Yes.
So Cage has the sponsorship of the leaders of the colony, and he's working hard on a specific potion, and eventually gets it right using those fire crystals. So then, as Lucas's parents are leaving for a vacation, leaving him and his older sister
Allison
with their
Mack.
grandmother. Oh, that's who Allison Mack was playing?
Yes.
Mm.
His older sister, the sex criminal.
And their grandmother is apparently very concerned about alien abductions and is supposed to be a paranoid conspiracy person.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's a lot of elderly people.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
either due to
I feel like
dementia
that's
or
the majority
Fox News,
of
or
QAnon
both.
at this point. Yeah. Well, how many? Well, whatever.
Fox News actually does cause early onset dementia, so
I mean, basically,
they work hand in hand.
Yeah, I think it sounds about right.
The next day, after being bullied, Lucas begins flooding the anthill with a garden hose, and he is approached by an exterminator.
Played by Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti, yeah.
Good Giamatti.
Strange little role for him, but, well, not really that strange. I feel like this is a character that it's easy to see Paul Giamatti in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
he's-
a weird, creepy, unhygienic exterminator.
Who's
Yeah,
kind of
he's-
angry.
One of those people, if you want him in your movie, it's best not to see his face.
Very similar to John Adams, if you think about it.
Wait, John Adams?
Is that the one that he played? It's like it's like a show where he was a president.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he was in the John Adams show?
Yeah, he
I didn't
was John
realize that.
Adams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
The titular Jadams.
Yeah, very similar
The
to
John Adams Show, starring Thomas Jefferson and
very similar.
And
to
here's
his,
your host, John Adams.
very similar to his role in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, where he played Aunt May.
Yes, he played Aunt May in The Amazing Spider-Man. So very similar to that role, if you think about it.
But yeah, he's approached by the exterminator who tells him that his dad hired him but forgot to sign the contract before leaving. So he wants Lucas to sign it instead and badgers him into it. I also think this is not legally binding or anything, is it? You cannot have a minor sign a contract.
I don't think so, but to be fair, this guy doesn't seem very scrupulous.
It's true. I don't know.
He's not a pedophile in this movie, though, which is good.
Well, we
That
don't
is
know
good,
that.
yeah.
Like the one adult who's creepy.
Yeah, we
to a
don't know that.
child.
We don't see him very much. We don't know
this
what
kid
his
had been
experience is.
shrunk down.
Okay, though.
He's got a big van.
To be fair, though, he had his opportunity. It was broad daylight. He might as well have.
Yeah, the best time to do that. Broad daylight.
So
Hey, be big. Was it be big or go home?
Yes.
So Lucas does sign it, and that night the ants sneak into Lucas's room and spill the potion into his ear, which shrinks him down to the size of an ant. And the ants then haul him before their council for a trial, where the queen sentences him to becoming an ant, and he's going to be taught by Julia Roberts' aunt. Not like her.
Not her aunt.
Yeah, not her aunt.
But she's an ant.
Yeah, it
in
is
this
an
movie.
ant that is played by Julia Roberts.
With a thick badunkadunk. I mean, fuck. All the ants have thick badunkadunks in this movie.
Yeah,
That's
their
true.
fucking abdomens are out of this world.
More like abdomen, more like abdomen, like, oh boy!
So Robert sets about trying to find a role that Lucas can fill in the colony, beginning with like foraging. And many of the ants are pretty suspicious of him. Right at the start there, he's pretty fiercely independent, and he doesn't want to become a fucking ant. And
Yeah, because he wants to be a fucking ant.
yeah,
Like, seriously, you get crushed all the time.
yeah, it's kind of a shitty life,
It's-
to be
it's-
honest here.
It's a real
I think
shitty
it's fine.
existence. You have no, like, you have no fucking, like, cognizance of your own.
Yeah.
You're just a cog in the machine, and you get squished all the time. Shit sucks.
He gets upset after one test when he cannot scale a vertical wall because he's not an ant. And yeah, can't harness those Van der Waals forces to begin climbing the wall. There's fun science facts. That's what y'all come
He's
for.
basically an ant. He just doesn't have the.
You know, though,
He just doesn't have a niece or a nephew yet.
Yeah. To be fair, Jess, you are right. People do come to the show for science facts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the science girl.
Some of the smartest pedophiles in the world, like Malcolm Gladwell, listen to this podcast.
Yeah, really good, smart
But is
social.
Malcolm Gladwell a pedophile too?
He's on the flight logs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very. To be fair, a lot of smart social scientists like Steven Pinker also listen to this podcast too.
Anyway,
So
The FBI will be at our door any minute.
So soon after, the colony is attacked by a bunch of wasps. Not white Anglo-Saxon
Yeah, I was gonna say, are
Protestants.
those kind of wasps or
No,
no?
these are literal wasps.
I mean, to be fair, I do think the ants in this movie have a very like Catholic mindset,
mhm.
so it would make sense
bugs.
that the wasp would come to kill them. So it makes sense.
Lucas manages to scare them off by letting an old firecracker that was laying on the ground with a piece of glass, using it like a magnifying glass to like refract the light and start a fire. And everyone praises Lucas as a great hero, but Nick Cage remains very suspicious.
You know, I will say that scene also had one of the few moments I laughed at, where it's like this big, like, oh, it's gonna explode, and then you see like in the distance, like, poof,
Yeah.
like that was pretty funny.
It was
Which,
one of the few moments I didn't laugh at.
damn, sounds like a moment where you're like, oh shit,
Actually, I was fucking cackling the whole time, and I had to stop dead
yeah.
when that part
You're
happened.
like, damn, son, where'd you get that explosion?
Because that
Damn,
explosion was part of a mind-blowing experience.
Yeah, it was like
What an underwhelming explosion.
The ants show him some murals of like their history, which include like the ant mother, who is supposedly the creator of all ants, and the cloud breather, who is pretty clearly the exterminator.
I do honestly think it's really cool that like the ants have their own mythology that's basically just like human existence,
Yeah.
but they do it through like quasi cave paintings and like mythology and stuff. Like that's honestly a really cool motif. I like that.
It is a nice little aspect to it, and it's world building. Fleshes things out a little.
Exactly for a movie that's not very long.
So when Lucas sees the exterminator there in the mural, the cloud breather, who is like evil in ant society, he is like Ant Satan.
I mean, he's literally Ant Hitler.
Mm-hmm. He realizes that he needs to cancel the exterminator because he's going to die with the ants too. So he convinces the ants to go into his house with him under the guise of getting jelly beans, even though it is technically forbidden by ant law to enter the human house. I'm not sure why. I wish that it was forbidden by the ants in this area's law to not enter my house because, like, sometimes
Yeah,
I get
honestly,
some fucking ants in this
since
house. and it
when
pisses me off.
since when has it been illegal for ants to enter a house? They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They get
Yeah,
into
they
houses
don't-
all the time.
They don't give a shit about your borders.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. Yeah,
We need to build
They're
a
Barnes and
wall.
Nobles people.
yeah, do build a wall. Yeah,
That's a joke about a business that went out of business like 10 years ago. Never mind.
that's the thing. I mean, you know, no walls, no borders, and frankly, we got rid of the borders in bookstores. So I mean,
Yeah,
shit.
they fucking the only place that
Now
ants
let's
can't
get
go
rid of
is
Wall Street,
Circuit
baby.
City
Yeah. Well, to be fair, get rid of Walmart and Walgreens,
Oh, yeah.
and
Well,
Circuit City.
and also Paul Wall. We should get rid of Paul Wall.
Yeah, we
What?
should probably get rid of Paul.
Paul Wall kind of got rid of himself. I think.
Yeah.
Nah, I think we need to finish the job.
So Lucas shows the ants around his home and a taste of human culture, and they begin to bond even more.
And to be fair, part of that human culture is Allison Mack, right?
Yeah.
Because she's in that house.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So
is that why the ants aren't
sexual
allowed in there? Because
culture.
they'll get sex trafficked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want no part of that Keith Raniere shit.
They gather jelly beans, and Lucas tries to call the exterminator cancel by like jumping on the phone buttons and stuff. He accidentally dials a pizza place, but he doesn't realize it, and he thinks he successfully cancels the exterminator.
but he cancels a pizza he didn't even order.
Yeah.
I feel bad for whoever the hell isn't getting their pizza.
Yeah,
Wait, you want
that's
a pizza with extra tomato?
Exterminator, tomato.
Yeah.
Very good stuff.
The ants are marching back home with Lucas, and then Cage is there at the top of the anthill and just starts taunting Lucas, still mad at him, saying like he has a potion to make Lucas big again, but I'm never gonna use it because I hate humans. And then he drives off Lucas and like, get the fuck out of here. Nobody wants you here, you stupid piece of shit human.
Honestly, it's like was it Lassie? Like, get out of here! No one wants you here. He looks behind. He's like, oh god, no. It's like, go away.
Upon finding out that Cage drove them away, Julia Roberts and Bruce Campbell Ant and Regina King Ant, who I never mentioned any of the names before because really it didn't. They're the three ants.
Yeah, honestly, the names are like
besides
some
Nicolas
dumb
Cage.
crap, like the Croods a
It's
little
all like
bit.
Zoc, Block, and Blook, and
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's black, like how deathcore vocalists sometimes say it.
They set off to find him, and while out wandering, Lucas is attacked and eaten by a frog. The ants witness this, and then Cage becomes like super regretful, and he chases after the frog to get himself eaten because he's carrying a special root with him that like makes things like burp.
Yes,
Trippy.
and to be fair, I think he should feel bad because he led to a child almost dying a horrifying death.
That's true.
So he should feel bad.
Yeah, because,
That frankly does feel bad, man.
Mhm.
because Jonathan Davis directed this. You definitely know that's a Jim root. So-
What?
That was a Slipknot reference. That wasn't even Korn.
Yeah, but
I
corn,
missed that.
Slipknot, it's the same thing. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on, at
I'll
least
give it
it's-
to you.
it's nu
Whatever.
metal. Anyone who knows Korn probably knows Slipknot.
Now, to be fair, that was definitely a very subliminal reference.
I don't practice Santeria.
I was gonna say that was the Slipknot reference.
Oh my god.
God damn.
Okay,
I think
so
that's
Subliminal.
Listen, some of those references got left behind in my mind. Okay.
he that special root that he carries with him, he does get eaten, and it makes the frog burp, and it releases them both. And he says to Lucas, I only did this because it made my girlfriend sad that you got eaten. I don't actually care about you, you dummy. But it's clear he does. He likes him.
He's got a begrudging like for the shithead kid. So.
It breaks the bro code to be sincere. So.
Mhm.
That's true. The only way to show genuine affection as a man is to just do constant irony.
Yes.
That's true.
That it had genuine affection through irony. But
That should be the slogan for the internet.
but yeah, Cage and Lucas discuss the differences of ant and human society that night, but they find some common ground in apparently that they both sometimes act without thinking about what they're doing, and they're regretful of what they've done. So they're sitting there and they're starting to get along. Nicolas
They're
Cage
trying to see
and-
past the differences in each other's
Lucas.
cultures.
Yes.
It's a very anti-racist scene if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, like, Nick Cage
Anti-racist.
criticizes human society for being so individualistic and that they need to work together, and talks about diversity because he's a fucking Hollywood libcock. But no.
I mean, talk about a literal hive mind. They have a literal hive mind.
It's true.
So maybe
it's more
they
of a
should
hill
have
mind.
maybe they should have more individuality in their culture
true.
too.
A
So
mound
there can be more dissent because it's obvious the society's fucking falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
It constantly gets wrecked by forces outside that they can control. So that means they need to strengthen their inner selves, create a
Stop making
never
these
mind.
ants go fascist.
Never mind. I'm not going to make these. Listen, ants are already fascist enough. We don't need to make them.
They're
more
already
fascist.
monarchist. It's not that big of a stretch for them to go fascist.
That's butterfly.
To be fair, they don't have a very strong. They don't have a very robust welfare state. So very susceptible to fascism. I feel.
So the next morning, the exterminator arrives, and Lucas and Cage go to warn the rest of the colony, and they form a plan to squirt the shrinking potion into the exterminator's ear. But they're like, how do we do that? He's so tall. And then Lucas is like, hey, those wasps that attacked us before?
Yeah.
What if we got them to help us? So they go and they recruit the wasps to work with them, which takes some convincing, but the wasps eventually cave, allowing the ants to sit on their backs with the squirt pods as they fly around the exterminator's head. Their plan doesn't work because the exterminator is wearing headphones, But after many wasps and ants are wiped out by the gas clouds, they come up with the idea to put the potion onto a wasp's stinger and inject it into him that way. So when they do that, the exterminator shrinks down to like the size of a toddler.
Yeah, down to the size of like a little person.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost got like that like that little person like body going on.
Yeah, and he's not proportional to what he was before. He looks kind of all fucked up. It's weird.
Just stop being ableist. That was very ableist.
That wasn't.
He's. He looks like a little person. That's what little people usually look like.
He doesn't look like a little person.
Yes, he does. You're
his
being
head
ableist.
shrinks from the top
You're
into
being
a triangle
ableist.
cone.
Yeah, he's got he
looks like a cone head from SNL.
I know. Stop being ableist.
Okay,
You're being ableist.
Also, at one point, like during all that, he got bit in the dick by a beetle. Like that was.
I remember that. That was pretty funny. And also, don't forget, he's got lice in his hair.
Oh yeah, he does have lice. How are you gonna be an exterminator and have lice?
I know.
That's just what I gotta say.
That's like just put on a gas mask. Look.
They didn't have the balls to give him crabs instead.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! Could you imagine like, hey, we gotta sting his dick real quick, and they just see crabs going in his pubes.
The crabs go marching,
That could be the Seth Rogen like version of this one, where they made that like R-rated CG movie.
Yeah, the sausage party version of Ant Bully.
We should. That'd be great. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So after saving them from the exterminator with his plan, the ants free Lucas, saying he can go back home, and they also give him an honorary ant name that I didn't know and I don't remember.
I don't remember that shit either.
Sharkbait Uhaha.
Yeah. Cage gives Lucas the growth potion, and Lucas returns to his house just as his parents return home. And he gives his mom a hug, and like with his newfound confidence, he convinces the other kids to team up on the big bully.
To be fair, I think we need to reiterate. Mama's got a fucking dump truck in this movie.
It's animated by the Jimmy Neutron people.
She's got
Holy
a dumper on.
holy fucking shit. Talk about that ass. Whoo!
For whatever reason, it's the thing with 3D animated movies. They have to give the mom a dump truck.
I mean, don't forget Dexter's mom from Dexter's Laboratory is a fucking dump truck. So, like all
Yeah.
cartoon moms usually have dump trucks or like rail thin, no in between.
Yeah.
Rail thin with a dump truck. That's my fetish.
Yeah.
Lucas also gives the ants some jelly beans, and that's the end of the movie.
And don't forget their jelly bellies specifically.
They are, yeah.
More product placement. Fuck these movies.
To be fair, that's basically Wisconsin product placement, though.
That's true. Didn't the factory close down though, and then we can never have the beans again?
I think it's still open.
You can only have the vomit flavor beans.
Oh yeah, the Harry Potter vomit beans.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Harry Potter series is vomit inducing.
There's a different flavored bean that I like.
Yeah, like
around.
flicking them beans.
They didn't have a pussy flavor Harry Potter bean.
Yeah, why
They
didn't
should have. But yes, so you're done with the synopsis?
Yeah.
This movie, I'm fine with it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really like it either. It was mercifully very short, which I did like. And the animation's not bad. It is, animated by the people that did Jimmy Neutron. I think Jimmy Neutron animation is enjoyable enough. But yeah, it's just the world's not fleshed out enough. It's ironically too short, but if it was any longer, I probably would hate it.
It wasn't terrible, but it was like the animation of Jimmy Neutron with less than half the charm of Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, that's a good
So,
point.
I mean, it wasn't terribly uncharming, but it was just like not.
Yeah, and to be fair,
engaging.
the sister in this movie was very charming. She
Yeah.
was charming enough to where I want my girlfriend to meet her.
She'll charm the pants right off you and then heat up a fucking brand.
Yeah.
Stick it in your butt.
That's true. Yeah, and everyone watch the Nexium documentary on HBO, please.
Yeah, and then come back to this and you'll
You'll
know.
get it. You'll get it.
But yeah, this movie was okay. It wasn't exactly my favorite, but it's a decent movie.
You do have to admit
Not
though,
terrible.
it is definitely not the worst animated Nick Cage movie.
It's no Teen Titans Go to the Movies, but it's certainly better than
Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I was gonna say from the sounds of it.
But like the animation was all right. It was probably pretty damn good for the time, I would say. And there's kind of a lot of big name actors in this, or sort
really
of
is.
Fucking
Yeah,
Meryl Streep is in this movie.
Yeah, Meryl Streep,
She's actually Ant
Julia
Queen for
Roberts,
some reason.
Bruce Campbell. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
Nick Cage, obviously. I mean, it's Nicolas Cage. Why not? But
Why the fuck not?
Uh,
Well, it's Nicolas Cage. Why not?
I will say most of the jokes in this I feel like fell kind of flat. They weren't very funny.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I wish it would have had a little something more for Papa in there.
Let's even as far as like kids jokes go, I feel like they weren't.
I mean,
very good.
I frankly think they could have just did a shower scene with like Aunt Bully's mom, and I would have been totally fine with it. That would have redeemed this movie a lot.
I don't know.
do that scene from Family Man, but with Aunt Bully's mom.
But like I
Taya Leone, I am not technically single, but if we ever meet and I'm single, we're making this happen.
I like Bruce Campbell a lot, but his character in this movie was pretty fucking annoying.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I clearly love Bruce Campbell too, but he wasn't very memorable because I didn't notice he was in this movie at all, and I feel like he has a pretty distinctive voice.
He's like, "Hey, I'm an ant."
He's like, "Hey, I'm an ant here. I'm trying to walk here."
He's got a very distinctive chin. That's what it is.
I think he has a very.
You couldn't see it.
He has a very distinctive New York City accent. Bruce Campbell does.
Yeah,
I think suburban Detroit is basically New York City if you think about it.
Yeah, he has that like famous line where he's like,
Hey, Army, a freaking darkness over here.
Yeah.
Why don't you shed some freaking light on it?
He's like, "Hey, it's groovy over here."
Klaatu Ferrari, I'm walking here.
Yes, I believe that is the line.
Yeah, pretty much all I have to say about this. For whatever reason, both of these movies, I feel like I don't have much to say on both of these. I don't know. It could all be summed up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think so too.
"Yeah."
But yeah, I have nothing else to really say about this movie. It's fine, whatever.
It's all right. It's yeah. I mean, I've definitely been more entertained.
It's a fine movie, but
I've also been less entertained.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the most middling movies I've seen for this show so far.
Yeah.
Like I have nothing negative or super positive to say about
The
it.
one really negative thing I do have to say about it is that ants are just kind of gross.
Ants are gross, and to be fair, this movie does lie about ant culture because they very much do not respect borders.
Yeah.
Well,
Ants without borders.
Also, like it disrespects ant culture by saying that they eat poop because they ate caterpillar poop. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I don't think ants eat poop.
I don't think they do either. That's not a thing that I'm aware
How
of.
the
They do.
fuck would you know?
Dung beetles and flies and
Dung
shit.
beetles make houses out of poop. They don't eat their house.
Well, what about like a gingerbread man?
Yeah,
Maybe
frankly,
it's a
you
situation
don't. Well, they kind of do shit where they keep the shit where they eat.
That's
because they
true.
eat in the house.
Where they eat is surrounded by shit.
So they can shit where they eat and sleep and do whatever. That's totally fine.
So I guess with that we could just go on to Amazon reviews.
Yeah, what the fuck? I got a review from Grandma Denny.
I believe it's Grandma and Denny from The Room, right?
Yeah, it's Denny from The Room because she's watching them have sex.
And the grandma has cancer.
And the grandma that has cancer that never gets brought up ever again.
Grandma Denny says, my grandsons are both autistic and fast-paced movies usually keep their attention better than the rest. For some reason, Aunt Bully has captivated my little audience, and as many times
Wait. Did you say audience?
Yeah.
Wait.
My audience, and as many times as they have seen it, they want to see it more and more. The story is about a little boy who is bullied by the big kid in the neighborhood, and after he is picked on, he turns his anger towards the ants in the yard. The ants wind up teaching him that he can do anything he wants to do, and being small makes no difference. My older grandson loves the part where he finds out what he is eating, and what he thought was a feast is actually the remains of what a caterpillar has eaten for breakfast. He also enjoys Grandma losing her teeth, and he looks at me after she drops her teeth in the drain and in the yard every time. We both laugh because he knows that it can happen to me too. It is a fun story for all, including Grandma. 5 stars.
You know what? That's sweet.
Yeah, Grandma Denny.
You know what?
Kind of wholesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fucking Grandma, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
we support you.
Yeah, Grandma Denny is a fucking banger of a review.
And listen, Grandma Denny, I know. To be fair, said 2 autistic grandsons, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's 3 autistic people because Denny in The Room was autistic.
Yeah,
and they transitioned and became a grandma later on.
Yeah, that's why you
what?
No, so they had a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
They transitioned to a woman.
Yeah.
And then that child had a child and became grandma.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, Jess. You know how this works.
It's very simple.
Haven't you ever seen Transparent?
No, I haven't actually.
Yeah, you can transition later in life after having a child.
Well, I know that. But...
And then they eventually became a grandma because that child had a kid. 2 kids.
Oh, okay, that's what you're saying.
I love how close-minded you are, Jess.
The kid became a grandma, and I was like, "What?"
No,
I
listen,
thought you were saying that in the movie The Room, the grandma is Denny's
sounds
child.
like that's what you were saying.
And
Yes, Jess. That's how biology works. You dipshit.
Well, now you see why I was confused, right? Because
no, listen. Okay, all I'm saying is that there are 3 autistic people because Denny is autistic and they had 2 grandchildren. So there's 3 autistic people. This is like a math equation for like woke parents.
Okay.
So if there's 3 autistic people in the household.
There are 4 people in the house. 3 of them are autistic. One of them is grandma.
It's a riddle. You have to figure out.
Grandma's birthday is before.
Apologies to anyone who was maybe offended by this. This may be a very offensive episode overall.
So our next review comes from Becky Irvin, who writes, "How."
Oh no! I don't even want to know, but it's gonna be good.
Wait, are you? Is this about what's on the screen there? Or okay. Mike seems to be preparing himself for something that's going to be very emotional.
I'm so ready.
Becky Irvin writes, "How my autistic daughter loves this movie."
Yes, it's Denny.
Oh my god,
Denny transitioned earlier in life too.
Got a review for.
I mean, to be fair,
wait, that was the whole review?
No, wait, no. How many autistic people like this movie?
Okay. These reviews, these 2 reviews are both within the first 5 reviews on Amazon.
Okay, so Jess, here's the thing. I think we all need to understand is that trans women can have biological children.
Okay, I fucking understand this part. I have just frozen somewhere because on the off chance that maybe one day I want to have a biological child. I understand this.
Hey, listen, the trans daughter was also Denny at one point too. Okay.
Okay.
I got a review from M. Drasky, who says, "Magics, potions, and curses. Oh my." M. Drasky says, "Not what I expected. We stopped watching the movie after the potions and curses were mentioned. Totally ruined what was supposed to be a relaxing family movie evening."
They're one of those
are they like the people who burned Harry Potter? Because
I was literally going to say like the anti-Harry Potter Christian parents.
Did you see? There's a video that went around. I don't know, earlier this year, whenever this movie came out. But the new Addams Family movie. There's a family who like left the theater early because they thought it was demonic. That's who wrote this review.
Yeah, probably.
Were they not fucking aware of what the Addams Family is? I don't know. Here's
the thing. I think they thought it was going to be the Bryan Adams Family, and they thought it was going to be the summer of '69.
So yeah, if you don't want your kids to be asking questions about the black arts, don't watch this one. I have a review from Carrie who says, "Poor service. I ordered this video for my grandson's birthday back in August. I received the wrong video. It was an adult video. I have emailed the company twice since I returned the wrong video and have not heard a word from them." So this is kind of like a Butters from South Park situation or whatever.
So to be fair, there is one called Aunt, like spelled like your aunt, and it's about an aunt bullying her. Her nephew to fuck. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And so
not Ant Bully, a XXX parody.
But at least in the adult movie, they didn't mention potions or curses.
And to be fair, I think the porn parody had less actual sex traffickers in it.
That's true. But less entertaining for the autistic audience.
Somehow.
Got a review from Kindle customer. Guess what? This ain't a book, honey.
This ain't a fucking book. What the fuck?
Kindle customer writes, "This is the second bug movie I've found myself hating.
What?
I'm sorry, but the few funny scenes aren't worth the grossness and stupidity of this film. I don't know what about it hit me the wrong way, but just like the movie Ants, I feel sick.
I knew that was going to be
You
the
know,
one they were going to mention.
I knew that was
somehow.
going to mention it too because I think that was one of the first like quote unquote major CG movies to have like big name actors in it
Well,
too.
Ants came out at the same time as like A Bug's Life.
It came out like the
Yeah.
year 2000, didn't it? I think like late 90s, early 2000s.
I'm pretty sure A Bug's Life and Ants came out the same year.
It's like 1998 then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like the movie Ants, I feel sick at the thought of it. Maybe it's the scene where the bug pulls up the ant's head, or the need to make everything as ew as possible, or maybe the ant religion. Please, if you want a good, clean bug movie, rent or buy Bug's Life and skip this gross film.
So here's the
So
thing,
they
right?
go back to that rivalry between Ants and A Bug's Life all the way
yeah.
in 98, and they still don't like this one either.
Yeah, you can tell they're a big Woody Allen fan, but they don't like ants.
So here's the thing, they talk about gross out things, but that's just the way ants live though. It's not gross to them. It's part of their culture.
I agree with Kindle Customer in that they were making things as ew as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Which to be fair is true. I think other cultures should be feared and we should look down upon them.
I don't.
I'm only saying non-human species.
We
We should look down on them. Actually, let's not. All cultures should be celebrated.
Yay!
Except for Wisconsinites. They should not be celebrated.
Yeah, fuck this state.
Yeah, fuck the state. The state's full of losers.
I'm trying to get the fuck out of here.
Fuck you.
You don't want to just get in the car and just start driving somewhere?
Yeah.
I don't care. We're just far away. Let's do
My
it.
last review comes from Stephen Jones, who writes, not a boys movie.
Now, to be fair, is this like you can't watch it with the boys movie, or is it like not for boys?
Well, let's see what Stephen says.
And also BOY or BOI?
BYOI. Bring your own inheritance. First, the premise of this film is essentially that what boys need is a good dose of feminism to teach them how to be men.
What the actual fuck?
What the fuck?
Where?
Okay,
I mean,
no.
first of all, the not a boys movie thing right off the bat, I was like, I can think the three biggest characters that matter the most to the plot. Two of them are men, one is a woman. Then, like, pretty much all the named characters are men.
And by the way, this is a very deep. The ant society is a very deeply patriarchal society.
Triggered instantly by Stephen Jones.
I know us libtards did get caught.
This is
here.
Alex Jones'
but
older brother.
okay.
Okay, just keep going. I need to hear
second,
this.
the scene in which Julia Roberts' character stings the pest control man on the genitals was totally inappropriate for children.
That was not Julia Roberts' character, even.
In fact, it was just downright inappropriate for anyone, but it set the tone for this movie more than any other scene. If you have boys, get them something else.
Well,
That's
I-
why
girls
me
can
and
watch
Taylor
it.
didn't like this movie.
Okay, that's very fair. I only like movies that I can watch with the boys. But no, that makes no sense because not only do they get the characters' actions wrong, the Ant Society is a deeply patriarchal fucking society. Like, well, okay, to be fair, they have a matriarch though, right? The ant thing, right?
Yeah, queen, but I don't.
But that doesn't necessarily make it not patriarchal.
Maybe I just think that ants probably don't really have a construction of gender in the way that humans.
I think they do actually. They're a very, very, very gendered society if you think about it.
Mm. But yeah, so I guess it is time to move on to the vote here.
It is.
And Dave,
got
would
like
you
45
be
minutes
so
left.
kind as to grace us with a countdown?
What?
Hey, Dave, do you mind helping us with the countdown? We could really use your help here.
Please, Dave, I'm begging you. Like,
Please, Dave, please, Dave, please.
please.
You got to do it.
Please. Please.
Oh, yeah, Dave.
Hey, what the fuck are you kids doing on my fucking lawn? And don't look at me when I'm fucking talking to you.
All right, fine.
Oh, yeah,
fuck it.
Dave Kuhn,
here
please
we go.
help.
3,
2, 1.
Weatherman.
Weatherman, sorry.
What?
I couldn't tell what we were supposed to say things either, frankly. But it's the Weatherman is apparently
By unanimous vote.
And may I say, I don't know if this is controversial, in my top 5 movies of the pod.
Yeah, I would say this movie's in top 5 of the pod for me. Like, after I watched it, I honestly put it top 3, but now that I think about it, it's still very much at least in the top 5 for me.
Swag up.
I like this movie a lot. And I will say, too, I love how we kind of spoiled it.
For me, in my ranking, it made number 5. So,
Good.
yeah.
Awesome. So we're all basically in agreement here that this movie unanimously won and it's in our top 5. I will say, though, that I think it was funny that we kind of spoiled our vote by saying, oh, this is a movie I think we should watch twice just to really understand the full nuances.
I didn't say we should watch it twice. I was just saying,
Just
like,
basically said that.
I said, like,
You
it's something
all
that I
spoiled
think...
it by saying for like the entire 15 minutes after the reviews that you all loved the movie so much.
Yeah.
Every time you say you love a movie, the other movie sucks.
That's true.
Have we ever been? Has there ever been an episode that like with 2 movies that we love? I don't think so.
Wait.
Oh, Lord of
There
War and
was the
Snowden.
one time, the one movie everybody said they loved, and the other one everyone said was horrible for the entire time. Then I went and took a piss, and you guys decided that the horrible one
No,
won.
to be fair, we didn't say we
To be
loved.
fair, I
Ghost
never
Rider.
conceded on that.
And to be fair, I never said I loved the Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
and
wouldn't
Mike
say
didn't
that.
either.
Yeah.
And I don't think our guest said anything super positive about it either.
Yes. Our guest was very neutral to negative on
You
both
made
movies.
it very, very clear that the other movie was worse. It
No,
wasn't up for discussion.
Worse is
at all.
a relative
listen,
term,
it's
David.
better because one of them is 40. They're both shit, but one is 40 minutes shorter.
Look, I don't expect you to understand art, Dave. And
That's
that's what
true,
Teen
yeah.
Titans Go to the Movies is.
All right, fair enough. I'm shutting the mic off and getting back to what I do best.
Okay. I mean, that is kind of art, so.
Oh shit!
Well, I guess next time we're talking about Birdie and Next.
Yes.
Birdie and Next will be
Returning
the next
champion
things.
Next.
And
So stick around for that. And give us money on Patreon.
yeah,
Yes,
give us
and-
the Patreon.
And by the way,
dollars.
what is the Patreon link? One more time for our listeners.
Hold on.
Patreon.com
Let me just
slash
double check.
Right.
I believe it's patreon.com/cumtown.
Cumtown.
I don't know if it's Cage Fight Pod or Cage Fight Podcast. I have to double check.
It's Cage Fight Podcast. It's Cage Fight Podcast.
It is? Okay.
It's
cool.
Cage Fight Podcast.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/cagefightpodcast and maybe give us like a little, throw us
And you can support us. You can give us tokens on Chatterbait.
Yeah.
And you can also send us feed pics as part of your payment.
Yeah, please do. And eventually we'll start doing Patreon content, but you have to we have to make sure we have an audience. So give us money right now.
So give us some money. So this is Taylor signing off. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Cage fight. Oh yeah. Cage fight. Nicolas Cage.
Solid work. Solid work. Solid work. Hey, solid work.
This has been a Solid Work production.